After that incident, City 23's Chinatown had become the GDS front lines. At first, they tried not to provoke Primavera, but when Primavera proved to be unyielding, they changed tactics. Oh, are we gonna get some Alan? This seems like a really long time has passed, so I'm sure he's already done like Yuki's funeral and everything. I hope he comes back and fucking kills Keith for real this time. They put themselves in a state of high alert, as though taking one step into Chinatown Alley might immediately set off an all-out war. In alleys all over the place, there were GDS men glaring about, threatening people. Apparently, that had damaged the mixed appeal of Small Rock Chinatown. Japanese customers quickly vanished, making the prosperity of a year ago seem like a lie. By now, the GDS thought of Small Rock Chinatown as being practically a foreign enemy territory. To protect their countrymen living here, Lee had been enduring a long, hard battle of nerves. I see, so you've arrived. Prepare some warm tea. Have these things carried to the guest room. Yes, boss. Pardon me, he's here. It's either Alan or... It's Alan, 100%. It's not Leo. It's been a year. I'm glad to see you aren't worn out. I was right. Not at all. I'm a lot better. I'm glad to hear it. Please have a seat. Thanks, brother. During this past year, that young black dragon looked as though he had aged all at once. However, for the first time in a long time, his expression seemed to have relaxed slightly. Alan Aramaki, the man who got wrapped up in the attacks of the previous year twice. Now Leo, 1,000,000,000%, is down with Alan. Super down. Thanks to an unfortunate misunderstanding, Primavera had branded him as a traitor, and he had been forced to leave Japan. However, with the first anniversary of Yuki's death approaching, he had returned to City 23. Even Alan, with his childish smile, seemed to have aged a little. Yeah, the love of his life fucking died. Christ. Of course it aged him. If it were possible, I would have wanted you to spend the first anniversary of my sister's death in front of her grave. Yuki died in this city. And nothing has ended. We don't know anything. Alan had left to Japan immediately after Primavera set a price on his head. In China, he had met Lee's relatives, who knew his situation and welcomed him like family. He had lived without wanting for anything. At first, he had accepted it, feeling he'd almost rather be reborn as a Chinese man. He'd even thought of starting a new life, almost as though he had lost his memories of Yuki and Keith. I don't believe my sister would have wanted you to return to Japan. However, as a fellow man, I can understand. Look, Yuki would have, she would have just wanted him around her. Feels sad. No matter how much my sister understood about you, only after another man could understand this feeling of yours. Even I don't really understand this feeling. You want to know your sister's enemy and adventure, yes? And one more thing. The other thing is Keith, correct? Fucking bury a bullet in him. Keith Kisaragi was wounded in his duel with you, but he recovered quickly. Since then, he has stood at Richard's side, serving as both leader and of his guard and professional killer. Just as you and I are brothers-in-law, he and Richard are brothers-in-law through Stella. He probably feels the way I do. I'm sorry, this is just not comparable. It's literally just not comparable. The first anniversary of Stella's death is almost here. I imagine he still hasn't found the identity of the real foe who killed his lover. And instead, he continues to hate me. Keith's heart is fragile. I know, we used to be partners. Even without meeting him, I can see his feelings as clear as day. But do you want to meet with him? That would be useless. If you meet, you'll just start shooting at each other again. Probably. Do you still want to meet with him? Well, I can understand that emotion, unexplainable as it is with logic. I thought about forgetting everything and living in that new world. I thought about starting over again as a new person. But I couldn't. The more time passed, the more I started dreaming of that day. Queen. Yuki stood at my bedside telling me over and over again that revenge was meaningless. I know that. It is meaningless. Even if I return to C-23, there's nothing constructive I can do. But even so. With the anniversary of Yuki's death approaching, Alan had chosen to return to C-23. The conflict with Keith, revenge for Yuki. I know it's useless, but God, I want revenge for her. She does not deserve to just be fucking dead. She is too good to just be killed. And it's like, oh, bygones be bygones. We all make mistakes. Like, I'm sorry. It just, that to me is just too bad. Yuki definitely wouldn't want him to resolve either of those matters. But he'd already come back. And feeling the wind at scene 23, he was certain. I'm gonna fucking kill him. There's still something I got left to do in this city. Until I finish that up, I can't live or die. If Yuki was here, I'm sure she'd give me a good verbal thrashing. Oh, she can tongue lash me. Yes, she probably would. Enough, Alan. You don't need to say any more. Sometimes women can't understand the emotions of men. Sometimes men don't want to run away, even if there's nothing they can accomplish. Thank you. This thing that's been sitting in my chest this past year is now lighter thanks to your words. First off, you must rest. It must be fate that brought you here during this period. Primavera continues to gather troops to meet its final goal of waging a feud against us. Richard calls it a defensive force to protect their countrymen, but even after losing just Yuki, I couldn't sort out my feelings. There's no way the consiglia's heart can escape from emotion when he lost both Stella and Yuji. Exactly, it is certain he will start a battle of revenge. One mustn't start a war based on emotions. That only invites an endless chain of wars. I remember what Yuki told me. End that war of yours quickly. Feud between Primavera and GDS must be prevented at all cost. Exactly. Welcome, little brother. Small Rock Chinatown is pleased to have you. Meryl! Oh, I'm sorry, Madam Meryl. It's been too long. Just Meryl is fine. Rose is more deserving in the title, madam. I'm glad you came back. How was life over there? Any problems? Thank you very much. Thanks to everyone's help, I had fun living with Father. I see. I'm glad to hear it. Pardon me, I brought drinks. Ah, thank you. Whoa, I've never seen a non-alcoholic drink this gorgeous. Calm down. I'm gonna talk with these kids about something important for a while now. Sorry, but please tell everyone to stay away from this room until I call. Yes, madam. After securing their privacy, Meryl's face instantly turned grave. That's Ozell. I always thought you were a clever kid. You're right, Richard has had Rose under house arrest for the past year. I knew it. That's... Ah! Then who's giving orders in Primavera? Is it not Madame Rose? You're too loud, but you're right. When Rose was shot, she was moved to a hospital that was kept secret from everyone to guard against further assassination attempts. At first, it was only supposed to be until Madame Rose recovered. That's right. However, even after she recovered, Richard wouldn't let Rose return. Right now, if Rose died, Primavera would split apart, so we must not let her die no matter what, is what he said. By using reasonable-sounding excuses, he pushed Madame Rose out of Primavera's inner circle. In other words, he took over Primavera. Yeah, it's just a soft coup. Yeah. The consigliere took over Primavera? You mustn't say such a thing again. You'll be erased. Ah! Richard doesn't intend to let Rose return here ever again. But he can't kill her either. Who knows when or how she might prove useful. So he has her locked up somewhere, unable to kill her. And Richard is cunning. He won't let anyone figure it out. He says he's indirectly giving Rosa orders to protect her safety. So no one even realizes he's taken over. Don't some of the execs know and sympathize with the consigliere? Yeah, there are a few here, those. Warhawks who always thought Madame Rose was too soft welcomed it when actual power passed to Richard. Exactly, so they are okay with it. They're gonna perpetuate the lie. Because they're fucking eating good. What about Wayne? He should have been Rose's first ally. It's sad, but he's been tamed by Richard. Poor guy, he probably thinks he's doing it to keep her safe, but actually he's helping to keep her under house arrest. Yep. Richard seems calm on the outside, but in his heart the flames of hatred have never disappeared since that day. Most likely none of the men have realized this, not even Cyrus. Cyrus is a moron then. Richard will definitely start a war in the name of revenge. At this rate, a lot of people are gonna die in City 23. Ain't shit you can do. Unless you can get the info of where Rose is. So, that was the legendary Leo Shishigami, huh? I thought he'd be a bit sharper than that. I'm a bit let down, I guess. Yeah, you would be let down until you see him keep that easygoing attitude fearlessly through a hail of bullets. I hope Keith tries. Fucking try, little bitch. Oh, God. Please. Well, I guess that's fine if he proves useful to Primavera. Though I'm confident I'll be much more useful. Yeah, okay. Don't be so hostile. He's your ally. What do you think, Cyrus? Huh? You mean about Leo? Seems to be in high spirit like usual. That casual way of talking really takes me back. No. Did look as though Leo was likely to swear loyalty to me. Wow! Who would have fucking guessed that's all he fucking cared about? Jesus! You read like a fucking book, Richard. Christ! He didn't look that way. To me, it didn't feel like he had the resolve. Yeah, it's almost like there's more than just money, alcohol, and women in his life that he cares about. Huh. It's like he has a bigger moral code. Huh. Man, if only I talked to him more, I guess. He's like Madame Rose. He may like pretty words, but he didn't look like he had the resolve to dirty his own hands to make those words come true. Keith, you're a fucking moron. Oh my fucking God. This dude literally went to another country to solve a fucking war. Sit the fuck down. You don't know what you're talking about. What happened back there was a bit much of a to show. Fuck. What happened back there was a bit much to show to a man who just got back after 3 years. No. It was obvious that you were trying to buy his affection. He saw through that, and he's like, nah, fuck this. You guys are trying too hard. This isn't about just, like, welcoming me back. This is a show of, look at all the things we can give you. And he's not about that. That's why I told you to do it behind the restaurant. There's no point in hiding it. If he cannot even accept something like that, then Leo is no better than Rose. Richard, you're a fucking goddamn moron. Cheap talk can't protect anyone after all. Looks like Leo wants to meet Rose. We mustn't let them meet. Oh, yeah, because you're fucked. Second E Caesar? Nah. Primavera gone. We won't be able to keep him fooled forever. That war of his is already over, yes? In that case, won't Leo search for a more stable lifestyle? Leo wants a stable lifestyle with Rose. He is so into her. If he was a wise man, then he ought to understand the situation and join me. If Leo Shishigami doesn't have the courage and resolve to fight against foreigners, then he'll eventually become your enemy, Richard. Yeah, and Leo will kill all of you. Not Cyrus, though. Cyrus is based. Leo wouldn't be angry at him. Leo is an enemy, huh? Now there's something I'd like to avoid. If he doesn't agree with our iron will to protect our countrymen, then I will show no mercy, not even against him. I'll finish him off. Try, bitch. I won't allow the existence of anything that stands in the way of Stella and Yuchi's revenge. Yes. Every single day since that day. Zell and Yuji have been whispering to me to spill Lee and Sun Zilong's blood. We'll kill all those who stand in our way. And we'll certainly have our blood revenge. Cyrus is listening to this being like, oh, okay. What do you mean he doesn't even fucking know? Oh, well, okay, I guess that's normal. We will eradicate all foreigners from this land. The black flames of revenge flickered in Richard and Keith's eyes. The flames grew even stronger as the anniversary of those two deaths grew closer. Nothing like fucking actual racism, though. Go figure. Once you're racist, you're the enemy. Wow. However, they deceived even themselves with pretty words, saying that this emotion would prevent them from ever losing loved ones again. Sure. That murky madness of revenge steadily grew inside their hearts. We've got to stop a feud from breaking out with the GDS no matter what. The U.S. military showed us those letters proving the GDS were culprits, but I don't believe them. How could those Yankees who seriously thought Tokyo was a city of the Chinese mainland judge the authenticity of secret Chinese communications? Thank you. So the so-called evidence is also part of the plot to get us fighting each other. It's safe to assume that, but Richard, who wanted to find the culprit as quickly as possible, latched onto that evidence without suspecting. At first, the GDS backed off to avoid collision, but Richard's unyielding attitude made them change their strategy. Chinatown is also starting to prepare for the expected feud, gathering lots of weapons and ammo. There's even been word that they've built hideouts all over the city and are making preparations so they can launch an all-out attack. Whether the evidence is real or fake, things are going to get nasty at this rate. Actually, it's true. It doesn't matter if evidence is real or fake because it's as real as the person looking at it believes it to be. There can be real evidence, but it doesn't matter if it's real if no one believes it. That's the fucking problem with that evidence. Because it'll just go to your fucking bias. The anniversary of Stella's death is almost here. This is the most dangerous time of year, when Richard's rising emotions might start something big. So this huge feud isn't something that's going to happen in the distant future. It might start in just a few weeks. There's no time at all. Nope, that's why you came at a really good time, Zell. I'm in the pro-Rose faction. I'm under observation, even if I'm just going outside. I can't move. Zell, Nina, Charles, I order you as Madame Merrill. Reform the wandering dogs. Yes, madam. Yes, madam. What should we do? Look for Rose. Unless she comes back, this situation will get out of control. That's the only way to stop Primavera and the GDS from crashing into each other. Yes, madam, the wandering dogs will succeed. Oh, and where's Oliver? We aren't the wandering dogs without him. Why didn't you tell her? When Meryl saw Nina and Charles' faces darken, she immediately understood. I mean, I'd understand if she just asked that. Then she looked at them, as though asking whether it was okay to tell her. I mean, you gotta tell her at some point. Eventually, Nina gave a small nod. And simply by watching that exchange, Zell knew. Fuck, dude. A year previously, information was controlled to cover up a massive incident involving many ordinary civilians. However, the impact on the GHQ was beyond measure. Really? Finally, the high officials realized that Gabriel's angelic smile had been a fake, existing for the purpose of taking revenge for that day long ago. Oh yeah, because there's just random people that are going to talk no matter what. However, if the incident became public knowledge, the outcry would be large enough that the GHQ might be overthrown. The heads of the occupying U.S. military observed Gabriel's actions, but they were unable to touch him. Oh, because he has info on them being corrupt. Never mind. Gabriel had dirt on many high officials, and he was even living proof of an enormous crime. Yeah, because he could like easily just go back and be like, "Yo, you guys let this happen." Blah 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 blah. In the end, they could do nothing but watch from a distance, praying that Gabriel didn't cause any more trouble. And these were all developments that Gabriel had planned. No one could get in the way of his holy revenge. Gabriel's Operation Great Justice had achieved total success. However, there was just one thing that hadn't gone as he'd expected. The GDS did not move forward emotionally, and instead lay low and took a defensive posture. It seems to kill Lee Meiju, along with the others, really was a great loss. But that's fine. There is no problem. A handshake that requires both parties to reach out their hands. But for a fight to the death, only one party must reach out their hand. Yes, sir. Philip Butler had aged so much this past year that he was hardly recognizable. It was hardly surprising. During that earlier year, he had been under Gabriel's observation. No, restraint. All of his privacy had been stolen, and he was practically kept in a state of house arrest on the floor on the occupying forces HQ. That was owned by Gabriel's Secret Service organization. He had lived with all of his liberty stolen, forced to do nothing but nod in agreement with Gabriel's nonsense that there was more than enough to rot away his heart. By now, Butler couldn't even wear a rebellious gaze. Well, yeah, I mean, he's fucked. His sister was still waiting to marry a rich and powerful man. A year later? Most unfortunately, and in part because of the results of the election, their ceremony had been delayed by more than a year. If news of Butler's scandal got out, the engagement would be called off immediately. He wanted for at least his sister to live in happiness in a guiltless world. So to him, she was the worst possible sort of hostage. And fuck you, dude. Phil, I believe I've done something to you that I must apologize for. It's not gonna be taking your sister hostage. No, it's true. You also have a little sister, but it's not as though you bear the same pain as I do. We're not comrades in that sense, after all. In the past, he would have flared up defiantly, telling Gabriel not to lay a finger on his sister. What good's that gonna do? However, even those things have been ripped out of his heart by now. You are my Achilles heel. To be perfectly honest, I don't have much to gain from letting you live. However, I don't want to kill you and have your sister suffer in the same way. I let you live out of love. I want brother and sister to have a happy reunion in the future out of love. You... fuck off, you fucking piece of shit. And perhaps that is why I am envious of you. I must have wanted to appeal to someone who didn't have the pain of losing a sister. But in another way, you might be like a confession room to me. Yes, sir. During this year, you have calmed and comforted my heart. And very soon I'll probably finish my revenge on this earth and return to heaven. The GDS didn't dance to my tune, but Primavera, Richard danced in the palm of my hand to a hilarious degree. During this year, Primavera had expanded its military strength and has probably balanced out the GDS. If the GDS shows even the slightest weakness, that balance will crumble easily. Very soon, they will strangle each other to death in the grand hellish scheme. And that will be a true hammer of justice. Once that is over, I will probably leave this land and return to heaven. And if the feud doesn't break out as you plan? Well, fuck. That would be the most empty finale, one I would rather not think about. However, humans must make compromises and satisfy themselves with those. If that happens, I'll satisfy myself by bringing about the painful death of Richard Mayugi, just a single mafia boss. Oh, bye, Richard. Honest to God, that would actually be probably the best death for Richard, just so he can be like, fuck, I am such a dumb fuck, as Gabriel kills him. Why do you want to make other people experience your own pain? If you know that pain yourself, then how can you be so unfeeling? Making light of life is the great sin of humanity. I believe it is my role to embody the message of gods on this earth. Well, to me, looks like you're making light of life more than anyone else is. I'm glad. You've lost so much of your edge, and it's been so long since you've said something like that. You wouldn't be amusing any other way, Phil. That is correct, I am inconsistent. Though I know the pain of losing a life, I take lives and pass on the sadness. And as that sadness is passed on and on, people will be unable to escape it without gaining God's forgiveness. Perhaps this is humanity's original sin. And who is going to be able to forgive that? Oh, who knows? Perhaps an angel? I don't see any. Get the fuck out. Piece of shit. Ugh.